right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. We will call the regularly scheduled City Commission meeting to order here at 2 p.m. on October 10. We'll call the first order of business. We have a moment of silence. And the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, if you'd call the roll.
Commissioner Purdue. Commissioner Purdue.
Present.
Commissioner Sassi.
Present.
Commissioner Knight.
Present.
Commissioner Robbins.
Present.
Commissioner Moody.
Present.
Chair O'Connor.
Present. And could I get a motion to excuse Mayor Bliss?
So moved. Support?
Moved and supported. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. That'll take us to our first order of business, which is public comment. Oh, excuse me. We do have an interpreter in the audience. If you'd like to come up and introduce yourself. If you are needing interpretation services, we do have those available.
Hello, my name is Evelyn Engels. I will be interpreting in Spanish in case you guys need me. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. All right, first order of business today is public comment on agenda items. You'll be given 3 minutes to speak. We ask that you come to the microphone and please sign in. And if you state your name and the city in which you live in. And just a reminder, these are related to items that are on our agenda that we will be taking action on here today.
Commissioners, City Manager, members of the administration, my name is Dale Robertson. I'm with the Grand Rapids Public Museum, and I'm here today to comment under the consent agenda, Section C, number 7, which is the awarding of a professional service agreement to the Public Museum through Owen Ames Kimball. And I'm here to urge your support of that particular item. If I may remind, just context, background, we are the second oldest museum in the state of Michigan. We're actually the oldest museum in the state of Michigan, second largest. We are owned by the city of Grand Rapids. The city holds title to all the land, all the buildings, and all of the artifacts, and has since 1903. This agenda item will allow for the beginning of an expansion of the Grand Rapids Public Museum, and so as I must thank the City Engineer's Office, Tim and Kristen, who are both here today, for their work, and it was hard work to get us to this point. Really, this expansion, we're here because of community demand and necessity is part of our mission in serving schools, in fact, all the schools in Kent County. And we're also been assigned a particular role by the City of Grand Rapids through the GR Forward Master Plan. And we are to be the interpretation center for all the work up and down the river and on the banks, and it fits in with our mission of being history, science, and culture. So I have a little friendly battle going on with Rick Wynn over at Lions Square, who's going to start first. It's going to be a toss-up here. But I think the great thing about this, right, because the entire work that's been done through DGRI and led through the city through the entire river restoration process, done right, and I believe it is being done right, will have impact far beyond the city borders to the entire region. So how fitting and how proper, right, that an institution steeped in our history, but history informs the future, that we can be the ones through your action today to lead off in what will be a generational impact project. So I thank you for all the work, I thank you for all the support, and I urge your support today for this agenda item. Thank you.
Thank you, Dale. Anyone else wishing to speak to an agenda item? All right, seeing none, now we'll close that public comment period. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of our regular session from September 19th?
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? All right, seeing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we'll move to petitions and communications.
The first one is a communication received from Mark Baker regarding street lighting.
That is received and filed.
Communication received from Denise Fry, Family Promise of Grand Rapids, regarding how Family Promise serves families in Grand Rapids.
That report is received and filed.
Communication from Peter Vanderweer regarding the resignation from the Uptown Business Improvement District and the Uptown Corridor Improvement Authority.
That is received and referred to the Committee on Appointments.
And a communication from Matthew Van Heulen regarding the resignation from the Housing Appeals Board.
That is also referred to the Committee on Appointments. Reports of city officers.
First one is the Comptroller's Report for the period of September 5, 2023 through to September 26, 2023 in the amount of $53,633,228.65.
That's received and filed.
And the Treasurer's Report for the period of September 5, 2023 through September 25, 2023.
That is also received and filed. That'll take us to our consent agenda and reports of our standing committees. These are things that we discussed earlier today in various committees and voted on unanimously. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Support?
Moved and supported. Colleagues, any questions or comments about any of these items? All right, seeing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, that'll take us to ordinances to be adopted. We'll turn to our first ordinance.
First one is the ordinance amending Section 4 of Ordinance 2022-38, new classification Battalion Fire Chiefs - Emergency Medical Services.
Take a motion.
So moved.
Support?
Moved and supported. Commissioner Yasasi.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is an item that is before us that was previously in front of our civil service body back on September 19th. But some of the highlights include that the fire department functions as medical first responders in our city. Oftentimes, the first respond even before a private ambulance company to the scene of emergency and providing that patient stabilization and life-saving care. In this past year, the fire department has answered over 17,000 medical emergencies, and EMS constitutes a significant portion of the firefighters' workload. So noting all that and work over the last 2 years to transition the organization from medical first responder to emergency medical technician agency. And I think Chief Brown has discussed that in previous meetings as well. So this just recognizes the need for that leadership in this area. This is a new position, and so we've also compared it to the fire captain emergency medical services.
Very good. Colleagues, any questions about this ordinance? All right, hearing none. This is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Purdue,
Yes.
Commissioner Knight,
Yes.
Commissioner Moody,
Yes.
Commissioner Asasi,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins.
Yes.
Chair O'Connor.
Yes. Motion carries. And can I get a motion to give this immediate effect?
So moved.
Support?
Moved and supported. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 2 is a consideration of an ordinance amending Chapter 155 Animals of Title 9 of the Code of City of Grand Rapids. Can I get a motion?
So moved?
Support.
Moved and supported. Commissioner Moody is going to tell us about this one.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. On September the 5th of 2023, the City Commission established on the 10th of October, 2023, as the date to consider proposed amendments to the city's animal ordinance, Chapter 155. Public hearing was on the amendment, and which was held on the 19th of the September of this year, at which time several members of the Urban Agricultural Committee provided testimony and support. Commissioners' feedback at the hearing provided support to reduce the permit renewal time from 3 years to 1 year when the permittee has a recorded or verified violation of ordinance to permit conditions. The proposed ordinance language incorporates that change. The amendment would remove dogs from the chapter, would ensure a legal approval process for the keeping of backyard chickens, and implement several recommendations of the Urban Agricultural Committee. The recommended amendments would also streamline the approval process for backyard chickens, as well as establishing a permit process and regulating for the keeping of bees. As these changes are being made, the city staff will do the cleanup work for Chapter 155 and the processing of it, and they will rename it the Urban Agriculture. These changes will allow the King County to ensure its animal ordinance control within the city and allow the city to retain jurisdiction over the important local issues of our city, and will give space for any other future recommendations to the Urban Agricultural Committee.
Thanks, sir. Colleagues, questions about this ordinance? All right. Hearing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Knight,
Yes.
Commissioner Moody,
Yes.
Commissioner Sassi,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
Commissioner Purdue,
Yes.
Chair O'Connor.
Yes, motion carries. Item 3 is a consideration of an ordinance amending Section 9.63 of Article 5, Chapter 151, nuisances of Title 9 of the Code of City of Grand Rapids.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. I'll turn to Commissioner Robbins.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Similarly to this last item, back on September 5th, the City Commission established October 10th as the date to consider proposed amendments to Section 9.63 of Article 5 of Chapter 151, nuisances of Title 9 of the Code of City of Grand Rapids. A public hearing on the amendments was held back on September 19th. The amendments would remove certain provisions from the animal ordinance would move certain provisions of the animal ordinance to other sections of the City Code. And this one in particular is in reference to the prohibited noise section of the nuisance chapter to include a provision for barking dogs.
Very good. Colleagues, questions about this ordinance? All right, hearing none. Those in favor? Roll call vote.
Commissioner Moody,
Yes.
Commissioner Sassi,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
Commissioner Purdue,
Yes.
Commissioner Knight,
Yes.
Chair O'Connor.
Yes, motion carries. Item 4, consideration of an ordinance amending Section 9.875.155 of Chapter 170, municipal civil infractions of Title 9 of Code of City of Grand Rapids. Can I get a motion?
Support.
Moved and supported. Commissioner Purdue, you want to tell us about this one?
Yes, good afternoon. On September 5th, the City Commission established today as a date to consider these proposed amendments to the Code of the City of Grand Rapids. A public hearing was held on this issue on September 19th. More specifically, the amendments will move certain provisions from the animal ordinance to other sections of City Code and incorporate new changes recommended by the Urban Agriculture Committee. This amendment specifically amends municipal civil infraction section of Title IX Police Regulations to include a civil fine for the unlicensed keeping of bees and chickens.
Very good. Colleagues, questions about this one? All right. Seeing none, clerk, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Sassi,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
Commissioner Purdue,
Yes.
Commissioner Knight,
Yes.
Commissioner Moody,
Yes.
Chair O'Connor.
Yes, motion carries. That'll take us to our scheduled public hearings, and we have 2 scheduled public hearings related to a brownfield amendment and a neighborhood enterprise zone for projects at 1340 Monroe Avenue Northwest. We'll welcome to the dais from our Economic Development Department, Mr. Klooster, to tell us about these, and with no objection, I think we'll take these as one public hearing, if that's all right with my colleagues. All right, Mr. Klooster, welcome, sir.
Good afternoon. Excited to be here today to talk about this project that is in the Creston Neighborhood Association on North Monroe, affectionately known as the former Display Pack property, 1340 Monroe. 2 public hearings on 2 proposed applications submitted by the developer, who I will invite up here in a second, brownfield plan amendment, and the establishment of a neighborhood enterprise zone. Franklin purchased the property in 2015 and as many of you know, has worked to try to find a redevelopment solution for this property. There is a large 5-story existing building that was used by Display Pack formerly, but it's been vacant for some time. After several different attempts, the developer brought on a partner of theirs and is proposing now a large-scale residential redevelopment in 2 phases. The first phase, the 2 phases are very similar, but the first phase would start on the north end of the property with a 4-story, 260-unit apartment building. The property, each building would have about 260 units, so 520 altogether in 2 phases. It would include studios, 1-bedrooms and 2-bedrooms. This is a market rate project. The rents that are proposed align with area median incomes ranging from about 90% to about 140% of the area median income, but those are not income-restricted units. The data from the current housing needs assessment indicates a need for those price points of about 3,900 units in Grand Rapids by 2027. So this is a very large project. Each component represents about 7% of that need. Cost for the first phase of the project is about $75 million. That will be demolition of the existing building, all of the site preparation, construction of that apartment building, and then a construction of a portion of the parking ramp. About 448 units will be constructed with the first phase. That's about 2/3 of the total units proposed. There will be 6 jobs associated with this development in the property management industry. Future jobs will be expected with the retail component. There's about 1,800 square feet of retail on the ground floor. The general contractor is targeting about 5.4% of the overall construction costs, or just over $4 million for minority, women-owned, and micro-local subcontractors. So the public hearings are on the establishment of the Neighborhood Enterprise Zone District, and then approval of the Brownfield Plan, which was recommended to you by the Brownfield Authority, and that would involve reimbursement of about $21 million of eligible costs over a period of 25 years. I'm going to invite Don Shoemaker up and Jared Belka from Warner Norcross and Judd. And as they're coming up, I'll let you know that they have visited with the Creston Neighborhood Association several times. On May 3rd, they did attend the Land Use Committee, and then on May 25th, the board did vote to issue a letter of support for this project as well. So with that, I'll turn it over to Don.
Welcome.
Hi. Thanks for your time, everybody. My name's Don Shoemaker. I'm with Franklin Partners. Our partners on this project are Garrison Associates, and they've been longtime partners of ours. And little background, we've been investing in West Michigan for 25 years now. We've done projects downtown, like 99 Monroe, where Panera Bread is. We renovated the building that connects the stadium with the walkway going across. Several large industrial projects by the airport. We're about to announce some new development on the former GM site on 36th Street, finally. So we don't always do fast work, but we like to think we do some good work. And this project is an example of that. We purchased this property about 8 years ago with a plan to renovate it for office redevelopment. That's a lot of what we do. We were pretty close and COVID got in the way. As you probably are aware, we were under contract twice with a local apartment developer who wasn't able to secure his financing. And we were talking to our partners in the apartment development business, and they said, is there demand in the market? And I called Jono, and he said, I'm going to send you over the report. And that led us to this path that got us here today, is there's a need. When we bought the site, we weren't sure what we were going to do with it, but we sure love the real estate. We love the city. And so this property is one we should own. So we're glad we purchased it. It took us a while to get here. It took us a lot of work with Ghaffari, local architects, local contractors to find the right solution, but we think we have. And we're excited for the city's support. And with the project's planned in 2 phases. The second phase will start depending on how the lease up of the first phase goes, but we're expecting good demand and hopefully it'll start shortly thereafter. Happy to answer any questions. Jared's our detail guy.
Very good. Jared, do you want to say anything?
Thank you. Thank you for your consideration today. Just to add a couple points. I mean, the site is a facility. There is contamination that the development team is dealing with through work with their consultants. Obviously, there's a cost associated with it in the brownfield. All of that will be addressed with vapor barriers and such. There's vapor mitigation concerns there, but doing the right thing. Obviously, doing a strong quality development here. You've got a great partnership who's demonstrated and delivered within the city before. So, the parking deck's another one on the brownfield piece. But happy to answer any questions. Jono did a great job intro. Not much to add to it. So we appreciate your consideration. Happy to answer any questions.
Very good. Colleagues, any questions for any of our presenters before we open it up for public comment? All right. Hearing none, we'll open this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to advocate for this. Commissioner Yasasi and I sit on the Economic Development Board, and this has come before us on a number of occasions, and our board has voted on this project unanimously. So I think it's a project that is worthwhile, and I thank you for staying the course. Even though COVID knocked a lot of people out, you guys stayed on top of this project. So this project is worth our city's trying to figure out what's the right word to say. Support. But you got to get back, though.
Very good. Any other colleagues? All right. Seeing none, we'll now turn to the public, and we'll open it up to public comment. If there's anyone from the audience that would like to take this opportunity to speak about either of these items. All right. Seeing none, we'll close that public hearing, and we'll refer both of these items back to the Committee of the Whole. Thank you all. With that, we will turn to the final opportunity today for public comment. This is your chance to speak to any item that's on your heart or mind. We ask that you come to the microphone. You'll be given up to 3 minutes to speak. We'll ask that you just state the name and the city that you live in.
My name is Hal Fruit, live in First Ward, downtown Grand Rapids. If I can, I'd like to pass out a couple pictures for you guys.
Sure.
What you're seeing is the sidewalk at 125 Ottawa. It took city staff almost a year to get that patched. It's now patched as of today. That's a process problem. It shouldn't take that long. It shouldn't take city staff working that hard and that many hours to get that fixed. So just wanted to pass, city staff stuck with it for about a year to get that fixed. It's now patched. And that brings me to a problem, and it's a process problem. The city does a great job, this body does a wonderful job of intaking information, but the bureaucracy that reports to you does a really poor job of following through on anything. This is one example. Another example is the city skywalk. That was built about 27 years ago, and right now, one of the residents or tenants along that skywalk is putting in wiring to shut that down at certain hours. That should be a public easement for the city. I've been talking about this for quite some time. It's gone to the media, and I've yet to hear anything back from the city. Right now, from what I understand, nobody knows who owns a given section of it. Nobody knows who's responsible for it. If that thing were to fall down, nobody really knows who's responsible for putting it back up. Currently, any of the tenants along that skywalk can shut it down anytime they want. So if somebody wanted to shut that down at noon on a Monday and open it up at 5 o'clock on a Friday, they can do that, from what I understand. This needs to be fixed. That's a public easement, should be a public easement, or there should have been a public easement when that thing was built 27 years ago, approximately 27 years ago. It needs to be addressed. Lastly, last month, about a month ago, there was a block audit with the DNN, and a couple of you participated in that, and I do appreciate that and would like to thank you for doing so. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fruit. Next.
Hello, friends. Mark from Grand Rapids. Well, it has happened. The vile, racist hate group Moms for Liberty has invaded West Michigan. Their first attack is targeting Northview Public Schools. Their missioning is to ban books that they don't like. And is plotting to get rid of black board members, black administrators, black teachers, and replace them with their own, with people who they approve of. And if they allow this to happen, they're going to infiltrate through Caledonia, Kentwood, Wyoming, Comstock Park, Rockford, Cedar Springs, and the coup de grace. They go zero in right here in Grand Rapids. That's not good. We don't want them here. We want them gone. Because we all saw what happened in South Carolina. We don't want that to happen here. So if anybody who's watching this meeting on YouTube I'm giving y'all fair warning. Don't let them infiltrate your school districts. Because if they do, they're going to do whatever they damn well please to change the curriculums of every educational entity in this area. They're here to indoctrinate children with their rhetoric, their lies, and their hate-filled ideas. So it's time to put a stop to it. We don't want them to brainwash the children of tomorrow, the youth and minds of tomorrow with their bullcrap like they did in South Carolina. Thank you and good day.
Thank you, Mark. Anyone else that wishes to be heard? All right, seeing no one else, we will close that opportunity for public comment, and we'll turn now to my colleagues on the commission here. Commissioner Perdue.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just thank you for joining us today. We had a great discussion earlier this morning at Committee of the Whole on an update on the community master plan process. There are some public engagement opportunities coming up in mid-November, so I hope to see you there or elsewhere engaged in that really important process that will guide our city for the next 20 years. Thank you.
Commissioner Sassi.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think that was a good reminder. It feels like we have had a couple of different pieces around our master planning process. I just wanted to say thanks for all that work on the ordinances that we just voted on. I know there was a lot of information, also thanks to the Urban Agricultural Committee, who also was a part of that, but it was planning, code compliance, many other parties in that, and thanks for responding to the questions that we had from our last neighborhood night out. And just a recognition, yesterday was Indigenous Peoples Day, and I'm really proud of the city for having the leadership, I don't remember how many years ago now, but to recognize the importance of that day. A lot of work was done. I see Mr. Davis in the back with our civil rights group, and making sure that that was brought forth to our community and understand the long history of our Indigenous community here in Grand Rapids. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Knight? Nothing? Commissioner Robbins? No? Commissioner Moody?
Thank you all for coming out. It's fall outside. Put your coats on.
Commissioner Perdue, yes.
Forgot a huge one. I want to thank Chief Brown and the team at the fire department for putting on Fire Operations 101 last week. I had the opportunity to participate, don the gear, spray a hose. It was very informative and eye-opening, and so thank you for putting that together. And to Mr. Hurt for doing that when it came to our water system and snowplow systems and other essential services earlier this year. You all are really helping with our onboarding experience, and so thank you for that. So just wanted to publicly thank Chief Brown.
Very good. Turn now to our clerk.
Well, I can't have you help with elections since you're elected official, but anyway, speaking of elections, elections coming up, special election on November 7th here in the city of Grand Rapids. Absentee ballots are available right now. You can go to michigan.gov/vote to get those absentee ballots. Remember, you don't have to have a reason anymore to get absentee ballots. What is on the ballot is Grand Rapids Public School millage vote, and Forest Hills Schools also has a millage vote as well. And there's a lot of things that'll be coming up. I'll be giving more information later as we do implementation of Proposal 2 of 2022, which includes early voting, and we do have an expansion of drop boxes as well. So that's what we're working on in the clerk's office right now.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Madam Attorney, City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and to staff for all the work today. I do want to ask the staff to follow up with on the comment earlier about the sidewalk and skywalk. I do believe that there were some property ownership disputes of who was responsible for the maintenance of the sidewalk, whether it was the city's responsibility or the private property owner. In regards to the Plaza Towers, there is clarity on which portions of the skywalk, which portion of the towers are owned by the city and by private entities, and I believe the section that was referred to that is being closed is that being closed by the portion that's owned by the private owner. However, the city does have an easement, but that easement does not necessarily mean that we control all the uses for the public at all times, but we certainly have the ability to get in when we need to. So that's an issue that's ongoing, and we want to discuss that system with all the stakeholders and try to improve accessibility, particularly during the winter months. I also want to echo the comments on the need to participate in community master plan efforts. The conversation is being distilled into something that is really, really exciting about the future of our city and how our community may look 20, 25 years from now. And so I want to thank the planning department for all of their work. And you've heard some of the future plans, even with the public museum, as we imagine how our city can grow and do it in a very inclusive manner. And certainly want to also acknowledge not only the indigenous people of our community, but also I think this month is also the National Disability Awareness Month, and we heard a good presentation this morning from our partners from Disability Advocates of Kent County, and want to continue to encourage our inclusion of all persons regardless of abilities. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager, and thank you all for being here. I appreciate the opportunity to chair the meeting today, and with that, our meeting will be adjourned at 2:32. Thank you, everyone.